What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics here today to do a little top 10 sports cards in my collection to start 2022. Did this with comic books earlier. Wanted to do this with sports cards as well. Once again, this is not meant as any sort of stupid social media flex or anything like that. This is just a good ability for me to track this stuff, document it, and see how this changes by the end of this year, beginning of 2023. So this is a cool little time capsule. I did not do this last year. I wish I would have. What I usually do is just go back and look at the cards that are in the background of the desk. So it's interesting to see how those evolved over as I was making videos. So I just figured this was a simpler way to do it. So we will try to keep this one short and sweet. So like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff down below. And curious to know, what is a couple of the biggest cards that you added to your collection that you have rolling into this year? Maybe something that you have that you didn't expect to pick up last year, you know, just anything like that. And these aren't necessarily PC. If it was purely PC, this would probably be a little bit of a different list. I'm going to qualify this as like my best / most valuable. These are mostly the most expensive cards in my collection. If it was PC, like I said, this list would probably look a lot differently. So these are in no particular order. We're going to start with baseball and then move into basketball. No football made the list. The Baker Flawless RPA almost did, but that's more of a PC card, and I honestly just have no idea what the value is on that card right now as well. So I felt more confident about this stuff, so we went with that. So first up, baseball. No surprise if we're talking baseball. Mr. Juan Soto. This is the 2018 Bowman's Best PSA 10 rookie auto, on-card auto, rookie shield. Yes, it's not tops. Yes, it's kind of a secondary rookie / auto, but it's a Juan Soto rookie on-card auto. Even if it is qualified as second tier in most people's books, mine included, I still think it's a pretty undervalued card. I got this for a pretty good deal in a trade. Feel pretty good about this overall, especially with the way his stuff's been going. So this was the first one that made the list. And then right behind that, which I cheated here, it's two cards, but they're the same card and sticking with the same player. We have some more Juan Soto. My two Juan Soto pink refractor chromes that I picked up at the National this past year. We talked this card to death. This and the rainbow foil are two of his most easily acquirable refractor style / shiny cards. They're pretty low pop. They hold value extremely well because there's just not a lot of them out there. And I'm glad that I have two of these because it gives me options. I will probably eventually look to move one of these. This card actually, more than any other card that I own or has showed in videos, I get more DMs about this card, people asking if I am willing to sell it, than almost any other card that I own. Like just straight unsolicited DMs, because I've never listed this card for sale. So I don't think I'll have a problem moving this once I decide to. But for the time being, I'm going to maintain patience and at least hold into the spring and see what happens. That might be a dice roll. We'll see. I have pretty good faith in this card in the Soto market between now and the start of the season. So the two Soto pinks, these count as one, by the way, for the 10. So that's two of the 10, not three of the 10. So I cheated a little bit there. Switching into basketball, and once again in no particular order, Jason Tatum checkerboard, PSA 9. I'm a big fan of Tatum still, and the checkerboard is an absolutely awesome card. I traded for this at a 101 trade night, the very first one that I went to. I moved a Trey Young premium box, PSA 10, numbered out of 299, 250, I think that is, and a little bit of cash for this. Not a lot of sales on these. I think the last one close to this, maybe a Raw or another PSA 9, did about $1,200 last time I checked. I traded into this for 900 value. Very low pop, awesome looking card. I mean, the checkerboards are just amazing. Last I looked, this was like pop 20 something across 9s and 10s. So very, very rare, especially in a higher grade. These have lots of issues with print lines and stuff like this. This one, print line wise, is actually not too bad. So I'm not sure why I got a 10. I haven't looked at it, or why I got a 9 instead of a 10. It is a little off-centered. That's probably the biggest reason. It's heavy on the left compared to the right. I'm guessing that's the main ding on this card, but absolutely gorgeous card. Love the way this thing looks. I need to find a slot to get that on the desk. It doesn't spend a lot of time on the desk. A little bit of Luka, and this was a toss-up. I could have easily went with the Luka Optic Holo 9. I had 3 of those. I have moved off 2 of them. I traded one away for a LeBron rookie a while back, and then I recently just sold another one right before Christmas to free up cash to buy a fantastic 452. The first appearance of Black Panther. I showed that in a couple live streams. It hasn't made a mail day video yet. But I moved one of those, or moved 2 of those, one for LeBron and one for cash to buy a FF52, and then I'm still holding on to that one. Once again, the beauty of having multiples. So I included this Luka on the list. Value-wise, these are pretty close to each other. That's a PSA 9. This is a PSA 10. But Luka Mosaic, PSA 10. These are very affordable right now. I think these are down to like $6 or $6.50, give or take. Absolutely great-looking cards. Very underrated and relatively low pop. But really like the way these look. I have a lot of Mosaic stuff. I have a Tatum Mosaic PSA 10. I have a Jaylen Brown Mosaic PSA 10. I have this at a PSA 10. Just always really like these cards. Really think they're undervalued. Given the population count and how nice these things look, it doesn't take much to move these. So a very nice alternative if you don't want to pay. If you want a nice, really any player, in this case Luka, if you want a really nice Luka card or Tatum or Trey or whoever, but you don't want to pay Optic Holo or Prism Silver prices, I feel like these are a very nice alternative to that. And that's why I really latched onto this card. Big fan of this one. Really nice looking card. Speaking of Mosaic and speaking of Trey Young, we have 2 Trey Young cards. I'll do this one first since we're just talking about Mosaic. That's my Trey Young Mosaic PSA 10. Now, this has come down quite a bit. I paid $900 for this. It is currently down to about $500. Pop on this is like 20 or 25, I believe, last I checked. I think it's mid-20s, mid to low 20s. This is the red, the color match. Really like the way this card looks. Really pops. Looks great in hand. I get a ton of questions about this one whenever I have it in my case. Trade nights, shows, whatever. People always pull this out and ask me if I'm willing to move it because it's really eye-catching when you're flipping through a case. It's a great-looking card. I'm in no hurry to move this one. I would move a lot of other Trey Young stuff before I move this. I still have some silver PSA 9s that I bought before the season started. But this one, I just really like. This is one that if I was going to hold a Trey Young long-term, it would be this one or the next card, which is his Optic Holo PSA 10. As anyone that's watched the channel for any amount of time knows, I'm a massive sucker for Optic Color, and especially Optic Holos. They just look absolutely fantastic. I actually prefer them to Prism Silvers. We have a Prism Silver Trey Young back there, and this card just absolutely looks way better in my opinion. The interesting thing about this, the Optic Holo Trey Young from 2018, is the population on this is much lower than Luka. I don't know if there was a particular issue with this card or what, but I think last time I looked, this was about half or 3/4 the population of the Luka Optic Holo PSA 10. And these are very reasonable right now as well. I think these are down to around $800-ish, give or take. These do not sell very often because there's just not a lot of them out there. I was glad to knock this one off the list over the summer. And these 2 are the 2 trays I would most likely look to hold for more of a longer term potential playoff run. I had high hopes for the Hawks. They've disappointed a little bit this year. They've been getting it back, getting their mojo back a little bit lately, but it's so hard to tell right now in the NBA with all the people missing games due to COVID and stuff, how good or bad teams actually are. So, but I still believe in Trey Young, and I really like the Optic Holo 10, both from eye appeal and a population count aspect. Last 3 cards, and not surprising, we're Northeast Ohio sports cards here. All LeBron and all pickups I made this year. First up, the 2004 PSA 9 Refractor. This is his second year PSA 9 Refractor. I traded for this at my Hartville local show. Was not expecting to trade into this card. Just kind of fell into it that day. Moved a bunch of lower end liquid stuff to the dealer for this card. And then this kind of sent me down a path of looking at a lot of other Topps Chrome Refractors for LeBron. But really like this card. Think this has really good long-term potential. I'm down a little bit on this since I traded for it. Actually, I think I'm dead even for what I gave up in trade value in cash for it. But the stuff that I gave up, I think, has gone down more than this card has. So I will take that as a slight win there. But really like the photo. Really like how this card looks in hand. Really nice looking card on the desk. And that brings me to my next one, which I almost put this one last. I put the LeBron stuff last because it probably means the most to me. And I actually think it's very close between this card and the next card. This one is the PSA 9 2008 Topps Chrome Refractor. This is the Chalk Toss. Absolutely iconic LeBron card. As someone that had Cavs season tickets for a really long time, and that's been to a lot of games and watched him play a lot, it's really cool to have this card in the refractor. It just looks absolutely fantastic. Iconic photo, iconic shot. Just looks really cool with the refractor stuff on the Chalk Toss there. I've had multiple versions of this card. I've had the paper, I've had the regular chrome, and I've had the refractor. I actually think the paper looks better than the base chrome. The base chrome, the chalk actually gets washed out a little bit. It's kind of hard to see what's going on. So from an eye appeal standpoint, I actually prefer the paper to the base chrome, but the refractor is the refractor. You can't deny the cool shine on a refractor. So this goes into, I guess, the number 2 slot. I would argue that this is one of my favorite cards in my collection. This typically sits, it only moved for this video. This usually sits dead center right here on my desk. It's the card that is directly underneath my monitor and is the one in dead center in the middle of my collection that I look at all the time. The one right next to it, it's not a refractor, it's not shiny, but it's probably the most iconic card that I own. Not necessarily the most expensive. The refractor actually outsells this by a couple $100. And it's only a PSA 8, but it is the 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron rookie. This is a card that at the beginning of the year, if you told me in January or February that I would own one of these, though you could say that about a lot of things as this kind of year moved throughout. This was a really big one to check off the list on the sports card side of things. Would I like to upgrade this at some point in time? Yes. I would love to move into a PSA 9 at some point. I could probably do it right now if I really wanted to. There's just other things I have priority over this at the moment. But absolutely iconic card, iconic shots, just a major PC / investment piece on this card. Once again, under a couple $100 on this from what I paid for it, but I am perfectly fine with that. I really almost don't care what the value on this card is. But I do think that LeBron Chromes in general have good long-term value as long as you didn't buy at the absolute peaks earlier in 2021. I still think this card has tons of potential for the long term. It's LeBron. He is the best or the second best player in the NBA history, depending on if you're Team Jordan or Team LeBron. I'm Team LeBron. It's not surprising. I'm from Cleveland. It's just kind of the way that it is. But that would be probably the number 1 card in my collection from PC standpoint, not so much a value standpoint. Oh, actually, I have one more. I'm sorry. That was only 9. I forgot I had a 1 set off to the side. That is number 10. This would have slotted in probably right in front of the LeBrons. And it's actually the only non-graded card on the list. It's the Job Contenders Optic Rookie Ticket. This is a absolutely gorgeous looking card. And this is the one that I famously got as a Panini Redemption replacement. I had a Ja Morant NBA Hoops Redemption that never got fulfilled. And I emailed them and say, hey, you know, I'm seeing Morant's autograph and other stuff. How come I've never got this redemption back yet? It had been a year. And they emailed me back and said, hey, what if we could send you another Ja rookie auto? Would that be okay? We have other ones that we can send you. And I said, sure. That's fine, because it was an NBA Hoops rookie auto. It really doesn't get much lower end than that, so I figured anything was better than nothing. Even if it was an NBA Hoops auto, it would be a wash. And lo and behold, the mail came. The Panini little CS box came in the mail, and what was inside of it but a rookie optic ticket, Ja Morant red, numbered out of 149. I mean, talk about winning. I haven't checked comps on this card recently. Last that I looked, these were going for, I think, anywhere from $1,300 to $1,500. I haven't looked since he got hurt. This is a card that is not in Market Movers, so I don't check this one all the time. I have to manually go in and look for it. But absolutely gorgeous looking card. This one also sits on my desk all the time. My only Ja Morant auto. And I really love Ja Morant. I've been a big fan of Ja Morant since he came into the NBA. I do have a decent amount of his cards. I have, the choice back there. I have the purple refractor and a couple of his other cards. So this one definitely on the list. Like I said, I set this in a different pile because it wasn't graded. This is the only raw card that makes the list. I considered grading this just to slab it. It is off-centered left to right, as you could clearly see there. And this corner is a little, soft. Right there, there's a little ding on that corner right there. Just a little teeny tiny. So my guess is this would PSA 8 based off centering in that corner. If they were feeling very generous, it might 9. I thought about maybe BGSing it and trying to get a BGS 9, but I'm just not sure that it's worth it. So I am perfectly happy just to keep it in the Panini seal and let it ride from there. It's nice and magged up and it's got the Panini seal on it. So I hesitate to break that unless I'm absolutely going to grade it. There is also a few little, I don't know how well they'll show up there. And it's actually hard to tell if it's on the card or not because it is in the mag. There are some little surface scuffs / dimples around his auto. I don't know how well. You kind of see one a little bit there. Another one right there underneath the T, right above my thumbnail there. And there's kind of another one there at the bottom of the M. Now, that might be stuff that's not even on the card. It is hard to tell. In hand, it looks like it's more on the actual surface than the card or than the mag. But for all those reasons, I'll just keep it sealed. I'm perfectly happy with it just like this, especially since I'm basically into this particular card for a couple $100 at the price of the box. So, but yeah, that ends the list. That's all I have for you guys and girls today. Once again, let me know your coolest, biggest additions to your collection this past year. Like, comment, and subscribe while you're down there, and we will catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.